There's been increasing reports of drug use, steroid injections, and now they're talking about growth hormones. International sports has experienced it all. Four-time Olympic gold medalist Al Oerter has observed these problems firsthand. Oerter, who's still competing at age 45, has also been a computer specialist for 25 years, and he sees a new and potentially more dangerous cloud on the horizon.
What concerns me most about sport right now is the introduction of computers into sport in a very different way. Computers in the past have been used to help scoring, to aid in the analysis of an athlete's throwing technique or rowing stroke. But computers, because they've been miniaturized so much, that you have so much power in a chip right now, that one of these days, in the not too distant future now, a chip can be implanted within the body with the appropriate power source and the appropriate sensors that, when exercised by someone else in the stands, can force those muscle groups to go beyond the capability that the athlete has at that moment. And once that happens, that athlete is turned into a robot. We have the technology throughout the world. We have it, the Soviets have it, the East Germans have it. I know the experimentation is there, and we have to stop it now. I guess the best way to liken the implant of a chip is to liken it to the implant of a heart pacer. Some of us have heard about muscle stimulation, where you take pads on the outside of an arm at the origin and insertion of a muscle, the bicep, and you pulse it, and the arm will move, okay? But do that on the inside, where you stimulate the muscle, and through the execution of a discus throw, I'm a discus thrower, at certain positions, when you would fire that thing, the discus would travel. We've talked a little bit about what the telemetry station would be in the stands. What I can see in the future is it would be a very small device, very similar to a remote control channel selector for your television, that would be tied into a frequency that is a corresponding frequency to the implanted device within the athlete. And depending on the sophistication of the device, could show levels of fatigue, could show what muscles have to be stimulated at what times, and the general condition of the athlete on the field. But very small devices that could be very well hidden. It's going to be fascinating, in a certain sense, to find out what the human body is really capable of, because in effect you're separating brain from body. You're going to find out what the human is capable of. But you can't turn a person into a robot to do that. You can't turn them into a non-person. The incident of injury is going to increase dramatically, because now when an athlete experiences some pain that normally tells the body that something's wrong, that's going to be bypassed, and those athletes are going to be hurting themselves. The way to stop it is by body scans, because if you're putting some electronics, particularly wires, if you're putting in some kind of chip, some kind of power source, that will show up in a body scan, and that's the only way I know to stop it. In the United States, I cannot see this technology, this invasive kind of technology, being utilized. But for those societies like the Soviet Union and the East German society, where they view sport as an extension of their society, and the more medals they win, to them it means the more vigorous their society. There, the danger exists that this kind of technology is going to be used in the future, and it has to be stopped. The U.S. Olympic Committee, the International Olympic Committees have to begin to pay attention to body scans and this kind of technology that's going to be upon us very quickly.
Thanks, Al. You know, when I started playing the $6 Million Man, most people thought the premise was, well, pretty absurd. But each year that premise becomes more and more possible. We all know technology can do great things for mankind, but if Al Oerter's concern ever becomes reality, we could well lose human competition as we know it, and sports might become little more